This is just a small explanation to perform correlation analysis on the given data. Okay. So first, as usual, we'll be trying to import the required libraries. I have imported NumPy and Pandas. And then I'm going to create a data range according to for us to explain the different correlations that are available. Just have a look at. I'm first creating an empty data frame. So it will just look like an empty matrix. So df1 of 0 corresponds to the first column, right, or the first attribute. So I'm creating the list of elements starting from 0 to 9. Okay, so which will get filled up in the first column, you can see. Okay, then the second column, df1 of 1. So what I did, I'm going to increment 2 for each element that is present in df1 of 0. So what is in df1 of 0? We have values from 0 to 9. Okay, to all those elements I'm going to add 2. So what will be the value here? Just you can see the values that is in column 1 or just two values ahead of the values in column 2. So I'll be having values from 2, 3, 4 and so on up to last value is 9 plus 2, which is 11. Okay. Then coming to the third column. Okay. So third column, what I did, I have given values randomly but in ascending order. Okay. So 2, 3, 4, 6, 8 till 40 I have given. df1 of 3. So what we did is we just have incremented the values from 10. Okay. So if df1 of 0 has values from 0 to 9, this will have values from 10 to 10 minus 9, which is equal to 1. Okay. So that's what we have here. And finally, one more column we have added. Okay, I have just tried to add and show you differently. So first I'm creating a one-dimensional series here. So it is having some random values which is no way related. Let's say this is not even in ascending order or not in descending order. It's just a collection of 10 values, right? I'm assigning it as the fourth column. That is actually the fifth column, the column indexed with 4. Okay. Finally, I have printed to show what are all the values we have. You could see. So this is column 0. So we have values from 0 to 9. The column 1, okay, which is having values just 2 ahead of whatever we have in 0. And here if you look at, it's all random values in ascending order. The fourth column, the values will start with 10 and it go while you move on it gets decremented by 1. And finally the fourth column, it's a random values which is nowhere related, that is which doesn't have a relationship between its previous and the next term. Okay, now we'll try to map the correlation between these values. Okay, so I have drawn a heat map for the values that we have created in order for us to have a clear understanding of how the values got distributed. Already we have seen about heat map, we'll just explain. So the heat map is just a visual representation of the values that is present in a matrix. Okay. So here the x-axis represents the number of attributes you have. The y-axis represents the number of experiences, that is the rows we have. Okay, and whatever is the maximum value among the values. Okay, so among the entire matrix, what is the maximum value we have? 40. Okay, so that 40 will be represented with the white color. Okay, and always 0 represents a black color, and you will have the color gets distributed accordingly. Okay, so the color, that is the migration from black color to white color, okay, will be there with a smooth transition among the values from 0 to 40, and you could see the values are getting colored accordingly. Okay, so what is the purpose of it? You can very easily find out. Okay, what is the range of values that occupies most of the cells? Here if you can see, 40 occurs only once. Okay, and the values near to the maximum value 40 are very minimal. You could not see, we could not see any white or white related colors onto the table, whereas the value 0. Okay, so if you could see, the values near to 0 are most prominently dominating the data set. Okay, so that's the conclusion we can arrive from here. And then just the pandas have, the data frames have a method called CORR in order to compute the correlation between the attributes. Okay, so I'm just going to apply this particular correlation method over this df1, which is nothing but the data frame 1, and the correlation calculated values are stored in df2. Okay, and we'll try to create a heat map for that df2. Okay, so this is the resultant correlation. So we can see, if you already have gone through the video regarding the theoretical presentation of correlation, you can just recognize how it looks like. See here, the difference in x, if you assume the first attribute to be x and the second attribute to be y, the difference in x is always 1, whereas the difference in y is also always 1, right? From 0 to 1, if there is an increase, there is an increase from 2 to 3. Similarly, 1 to 2, 3 to 4. So, throughout all the rows, okay, if there is an increase in 1 unit on column 0, there is an increase on 1 unit on column 1. So, what is the relationship between that exists? It's perfect proper correlation, okay, and hence the correlation value should be +1. Similarly, you take column as 0 and column 3. Okay, here if there is an increase in 1 unit in column 0, you can see a corresponding decrease in 1 unit in column 3. Okay, so 0 to 1, it gets decreased from 10 to 9, 1 to 2, 9 to 8. Okay, and hence what is this? When there is an increase in one attribute, there is a corresponding decrease in another attribute and the intervals remain same. So that's where we end up with proper negative correlation. And hence the value of the correlation should be -1. Okay, we can see whether it is correct or not. See the what is the correlation between 0 and 1? It is +1. Okay, what is the correlation between 0 and 3? It is -1. You can see. Okay, so between 0 and the diagonal will always remain 1, we understand, because it's the correlation between that particular row to the attribute to that particular same attribute. Okay, and coming to the other relationship. So come to the relationship between 0 attribute and the attribute with index 2. Okay, so what is that? When there is an unit increase in attribute to column 0 indexed by 0 or the first column, you could see an increase in 2, but the interval is not always the same. Okay, here if there is an unit, see here the attribute 0, always there is a same increase, right? 0 to 1, the unit of increase is always 1, whereas if you look at this column 2 indexed with 2, in the between these two the increase is 1, between these two the increase is 1, between these two it is 2, and then 2, 4, and it goes on. Okay, even though there is an increase, it's not considerable. So there exists a positive correlation, not proper positive correlation. Okay, and hence the value is calculated to be 0.875204. How this value came, we'll look into the formula shortly, but this is positive correlation because the value lies between 0 to +1. Okay, actually if you look at this matrix, it is a symmetrical matrix because the relationship between 1 and 0 will be the same as the relationship between 0 and 1. Okay, now coming to the last column, whichever we have, between any of these attributes, if you look at the relationship between the last column, it is nowhere related. Okay, there is increase, decrease, increase, decrease. So accordingly, if we calculate, okay, it's very meager. It is -3.36 because you can see the decrease might be more than the increase. 10 to 4, and then 8 to 0, then 6 to 2, likewise. Okay, so the decrease might be more. Okay. Now let us see how these correlation values are getting printed. Before that, you look at the heat map. Again, it's the same. You have 4 rows and 4 columns, and the values, maximum value is 1. Okay, and the minimum value is -0.8, I guess. Okay, so the values are plotted since the annotation is given as true. So you can see, you can identify very easily the set of attributes that is related or that has a very strong binding between each other. What are they? The columns in white color and then the black color. Okay, and near to white represents stronger impact variables and near to 0 represents, and if it is 0, okay, so it represents there is no correlation among the data. Okay, the correlation values are being calculated using Pearson's correlation coefficient. Different methods of calculating correlation are available, but most probably Pearson's correlation coefficient would be of interest to all of us, right? And hence the same is implemented in pandas and numpy packages also. So let us see in detail about how the values are being calculated. These values I have now exported to an Excel file, so and stored in ecolon as result.csv. Let us open. Okay, now this is the file I have obtained initially with all the values of whatever we have created there. Okay, so and this is the Pearson's correlation coefficient. So this states the cumulative. So R is equal to N. N represents the number of samples we have. That is nothing but the number of rows. Okay, and this is the sigma symbol which represents the summation. Right? So R is equal to N sigma xy minus sigma x into sigma y divided by square root of N sigma x squared minus sigma x the whole squared. Similarly is for the next operator. So I am just going to calculate. I have just calculated and shown here the correlation coefficient calculation between this attribute 0 and then the attribute 4. Okay, so xy, which is just a multiplication of this x squared, this into this, and y squared, this value and this value, all the summation has been calculated and was applied in the formula. This is the numerator, which is the total number of samples, which is 10 over here, multiplied by this value. Okay, so which is 1360 minus the multiplication of this value and this value. So it gives us minus 350. In a similar way, in the denominator, I have first calculated this part and the value is 825. The second part gives 1136. When we multiply together and then take a square root, it results here. Okay. And then when we apply this formula, that is numerator minus 350 divided by 968.091, it gives us a values of minus 0.36. Okay, which we go back and if we see, that is the correlation coefficient, you can see 0. Okay, so that's how the correlation values are being calculated, and it was shown to you in the form of a heat map, from where we can identify which is the most set of variables that is having the relationship between one another and which is having the least relationship. Okay, so if we take 0.21 and all, we don't need to bother about the relationship between these two variables because it's almost independent to each other. Okay, so the research says if the correlation coefficient lies between 0.7 to 1, those values, those attributes has to be prominently taken care of while going for machine learning algorithm. Otherwise, those variables may be discarded. Okay, while if feature selection is more important. Thank you, guys.